Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Jimmy with One Road. Let's talk about a couple of the major problems with LED replacement bulbs in our cars. I have a little bit of experience with these LED replacement bulbs. I own two Suburbans, a 1995 GMC Suburban and a 2003 Chevrolet Suburban. In both of those, I've tried to update the look on the inside by swapping out all of the little 194 incandescent bulbs to a 194 version LED bulb. And I have to admit, the look is amazing. The light is a lot more white, they're a lot brighter, they use less energy, and it's just a more modern look that makes your vehicle feel newer. That's what we're looking for, right? We're looking for more light, we're looking for that newer white light, and we're also looking for less power consumption, we're looking for overall, better looks. And for the most part, that's what you get. We have a 3057, which is pretty much a standard tail light or blinker bulb. Here you can see an LED version of that 3057. And this here is an LED version of the standard 194 incandescent bulb that you usually see on the interior of our vehicles or even in the license plate bulb area. Now, I, like you, have gone out searching high and low on Amazon, looking through reviews, looking for a good quality LED bulb that lasts a long time and looks great. And unfortunately, what you find is a heck of a lot of reviews that say these things are the most awesome things since sliced bread. And that may be true right there in the very beginning when they first install these things. And that's true for me too. I would install some of these and right off the bat, your first impressions are, man, these things are awesome. They put off a lot of light. The light color is great and they don't use that much energy. So it's going to save my overall charging system and what have you when you leave the doors open or whatever the case may be. The problem is, a few months down the line, these LED bulbs typically start to break down. And I think the reason why they start to break down is simply heat. Well, it could also be because they're made absolutely terribly in some cases, but I think for the most part, we're talking about heat. These little LEDs, though LED, do produce a lot of heat. And unless they are made correctly to dissipate that heat, the internal components are going to overheat and possibly fry themselves, leaving you with a bulb that either flickers or is dim, or half of them work and half of them don't. And you get the idea. Getting on Amazon and looking for a better version of these LED bulbs, I came across this company, Sealight. Now, I don't know if these are any good. I don't know how long they're gonna last. I don't know if they're gonna overheat right away. I don't know if some of them are DOA. But let me get these things open and show you the difference between these and my old ones. Let's pour these out. See if we can tell the difference here. So right away, you can see the design of these is a much different design than what I've had before. This LED bulb in particular is the 194 version, and you can see that there are no moving parts on this bulb. The electrodes are built into the board, and there's nothing that can move around or fail in that regard. Unlike this one here, you can see these wimpy little electrodes that obviously are going to ultimately fail. Again, just by using some simple common sense, you can see that this new bulb is going to last a lot longer than this older bulb. In terms of size difference, you can see this new bulb is extremely flat. It is a little bit shorter and it's obviously a lot less wide. Speaking of size, that is another problem I was having with this older style of LED bulb. This bulb actually was a lot bigger than the standard 194 incandescent bulb it replaced. So what that meant was some of the really tight spots like the overhead map light, the door lights, I actually had to do some drilling just to get these things to fit. I don't suspect that to be a problem with these new ones. These ones are obviously very thin and seem to be just as small, if not even a little smaller, than the standard 194 incandescent bulbs that they're replacing. Looking closely at this thing, you can see the electrodes are actually built into the board, and along the edges, it is coated with some sort of material. I don't think that the whole thing is made of metal. I could be wrong. I think that it's just your typical fiberglass or whatever type of material they use to make these boards out of. But let's just hope that this doesn't overheat and this lasts a long time. Let's see what this LED bulb looks like on. And that's what we can see here. You can see I have it plugged right into the socket, and you can also see that it's kind of malfunctioning, shorting out. But the LED bulbs themselves do look good. They have a great color to them, but the bulb itself is having issues staying on. Let's pull this out and try to figure out why. If we take a closer look at this bulb, we can see the same issue where the electrodes are moving. They're not very secure and therefore not making a very strong contact inside, if at all. Just a very poor design. Now let's go ahead and plug one of these in and see what it looks like. I'm gonna go ahead and plug it right in. There we go. That's in there. Wow. And it's very bright, just like the old one. And I don't see any sort of flickering issues, and it seems to be held in there pretty good. Of course, like I was saying, this is brand spanking new. I don't know if it's gonna fail, you know, a week down the line, a day, a month, a year, who knows. But what I'm hoping is this design of the bulb is actually gonna allow it to last a lot longer. So let's go ahead and take a closer look here. You can see there are 4 LED bulbs on each side. So far, this bulb looks pretty dang good to me. So let's go ahead and slide it back into its housing. And there she is, she's in. You can see that it's now installed and everything fits great. There are some holes there still from the last bulb, the drilling that I had to do, but the socket still fits really good inside. No concerns there. So let's go ahead and install this thing the rest of the way into the truck. And all you do is insert this end first, just like that, and then you're gonna push this side all the way in until you hear it click. Just like that. Now this is fully installed. You can see this bulb is our new bulb, and the bulb you see back there is one of the old bulbs. Very same color, temperature of light, but you can also tell that this bulb does put out quite a bit of light. I think it looks great, but only time will tell how long they last. Here we can see the interior map light, which is loaded with the old 194 incandescent bulb. In this case, I have the old LED bulb in this slot, which you can see there, and I have the 194 bulb in that slot, which you can see there. What I want to do is install the new LED bulb into this slot so we can see the difference in brightness or whatever between the two. If you look closely at the lens, there's a star pattern in the center. I'm going to go ahead and take my flathead screwdriver ever so slightly, pressing in and turning to loosen, and it should drop right out. And here you can see the whole housing that holds the bulb. You can also see in the cutaway the 194 incandescent bulb sitting in the middle. Let's go ahead and press this tab. Once we have those tabs pressed in, we can remove the socket, and now we can see the old incandescent 194 bulb, which we can pull out. Just like that. And on top of that, we can now compare the size. Just as I suspected, this new LED bulb is actually quite a bit smaller than the old 194. They are about the same height, although I do see that the LED bulb may be slightly shorter. I was looking for the smallest 194 bulb I could find that would fit in every single factory location of the old incandescent 194, and I think that this is it. The new LED is obviously a heck of a lot thinner. So without further ado, let's go ahead and install these things. One issue that I possibly see on these is just how thick they are at the base. It does seem to be a lot thicker with no sort of ramp up to the extra thickness, whereas you can see the base of this old 194 is actually a lot smoother and does ramp up to the thickness. In any case, let's see if we can install this. It does seem to be a very tight fit, but I think I just got it. Now we can slide this socket back into the lens housing just by simply pushing it in until you hear a click. It's installed straight on both sides. You can see how the bulb protrudes into the housing. And now we can test them out. So I'm going to press the new one here on the passenger side. The light on the passenger side seems to my eye to be a little more white, whereas the light on the driver's side seems to my eye to be a little more on the bluish side. Not sure if that's coming off on camera, but that's what I see with my eye. I also see that the light on the driver's side is just ever so slightly brighter than the light on the passenger side, but that's okay because I've always felt that this driver's side LED light was way too bright when I turned it on. So I think this new one will work out just perfectly. Just for reference, I wanted to pull out the driver's side map light and show you the modification that I did have to make to the lens housing in order to get this new bulb to fit. It seems pretty drastic, I know, but you have to remember, my thought process when I was originally doing this is, hey, these LEDs are never going to burn out, they last forever. Well, in this particular case, I don't believe this LED light will burn out for a long time to come, and that's simply due to the fact that I don't use it all that much. But if this were to ever burn out, I would just simply remove it and replace it, and if this lens housing ever failed, I could probably find one pretty easily at a junkyard for just a few dollars. So just to recap a little bit, some of the biggest problems that I see with LED bulbs is heat dissipation. That, coupled with being made fairly cheaply, leads to an eventual failure. I've seen that in these bulbs and bulbs in the past. I sought out to find a better LED build quality, and I'm hoping that this is it, or at least on the right track. So far, the one potential issue I do see with this new style is how thick the base is there. When you take into account the thickness of the base, along with these parts mounted in the center here, it is actually a little bit different of a shape than the standard bulb that the sockets were designed for. That being said, this is the smallest and best fitting bulb that I've seen so far. Only time will tell how long these things last, but I'm hoping, due to the difference in build style, that these will last much longer. As for cost, this particular bulb was around $1 per bulb, so about $10 for 10 of them on Amazon. I will put a link down in the description below this video for these exact bulbs, so be sure to check that out if you're interested. And lastly, I want to hear from you guys. Please comment below and let me know what style LED bulbs you use and what type of bulbs that you're replacing with those, and just give me your experience with LED bulbs in general. So if you enjoyed this video, please hit that thumbs up. I know you hear that from everybody, but it really does help. Also, if you're not subscribed to my channel, make sure you do that. And also check that description below this video for other links, including to these LED bulbs. You can also find me on Instagram at OneRoadGarage and my website, oneroadgarage.com. I'm Jimmy, this is One Road, and I will see you in the next one. Peace. All right, on to something that really matters in life.